Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a look at Transformers Studio Series number 49. This is Deluxe Class Bumblebee from the first Transformers movie. It's the second Bumblebee we've gotten from that movie in Studio Series, but this is his other form. The original one we got was his old Camaro. This is the new concept Camaro, at least new by 2007 standards. This toy is an all-new mold, though you'll see, like the other Bumblebees that have been released recently, he shares a lot of engineering. Kind of the same overall blueprint that they've been using since the Last Night toy line and that Bumblebee. But he's still got a lot of new stuff going on. So if you see my reviews, you know how this is going to go. We're going to take a look at Bumblebee's packaging. We're going to look at his instructions and then look at Bumblebee himself in both vehicle and robot modes. I'll be doing some group shots, comparisons, and then at the end I'll give my final thoughts. So right here you can see Bumblebee's got this very cool little render of him charging up his little arm cannon thing right there. You actually see that arm cannon right here, comes with it, it's detachable. You can see he's got his battle mask drop down, and unfortunately, unlike some other releases recently, it's not optional. There's not like a face you can swap out for the regular head, it's only that. So that is very disappointing. They were doing a good job of providing us with options, and then they took that away. So that is unfortunate, though I'm glad if they had to pick one, they went with the battle mask just so he's not quite as samey. It's not, you don't feel like you're getting the exact same figure again, a little more stylized. So yeah, he's relatively small because he is supposed to be in scale. Bumblebee is a relatively small Autobot, so he doesn't take up much of the packaging here. On the side, you get a close-up of his face there. You can see his eyes, so like the grating of his mask, which is pretty cool. On the back, you have his renders for robot and vehicle mode. He takes, oh my god, 39 steps to transform. That's some masterpiece level stuff right there, like a big masterpiece. So that's shocking. 39 steps, boy. So we'll see how this transformation works out. I'm all for them being complex, but they have to be good too. If the transformation doesn't work very well, it's frustrating and very finicky. It doesn't make for a good play experience. You can see he's got his backdrop here, which they call the city tunnel switch. So that's a scene in which he actually scans his new vehicle mode. So that's very cool. It's the first time on that. You got your GM branding here, since he does turn into a licensed Chevy Camaro. Then on the side over here, you just have a close-up of his render on the front. So you can see his feet and everything. He's kind of charging the battle, which is neat. Here's the instruction sheet for Bumblebee. You can see a nice big render of him right here on the front. Go ahead and open this up, and this front page starts the transformation from robot to vehicle mode. Finishes up on the back end here. This shows you how to have him wield his weapon or how to store it in the robot mode. And then over here he's got the cross cells for Soundwave and the RC triplets. Now here's Bumblebee's Camaro vehicle mode. And again, this is the Camaro concept car that he took on partway through the first movie. So a lot more stylish, a lot fancier than the old beater that he started with. Here's the weapon that's attached to the back of his car. Unplug it, just plugs in the little slot right here. And the car rolls exceedingly well, which is always nice. No clearance issues. It's got nice clear windows. The color matching between the painted parts and the yellow plastic is pretty spot on for the most part. The only real problem area I see is like little hinge pieces right here. They're kind of a paler yellow than the rest of them, but aside from that, the rest looks very good. He's got a whole bunch of robot kibble on the underside, which is, kind of expected. There's a fake hood chest thing going on there. And, the fact that he's got a battle mask on kind of partially obscures the face, doesn't make it super obvious when looking at him from the underside here. But overall, it's a very solid vehicle mode. Now here he is next to the masterpiece version of the concept Camaro Bumblebee. And you can see here they're very similar in appearance. They have mainly the same details. There are some differences. You can see here that the racing stripes kind of taper off, His don't, they're just flat. The front end looks almost identical between them, so that's cool. Right down to the paint apps and everything. Back end is also pretty much the same. His isn't as well painted, doesn't have the cool license plate or anything. But yeah, overall, this is a really great kind of translation of the design from a very complex, expensive masterpiece toy to, you know, a more affordable Generations figure. So I give major props for really nailing the overall look. These guys are almost identical in their vehicle modes. All right, now it's time for the transformation. If you haven't already, go ahead and remove his weapon from the backside. And then we're going to open his doors, just like pretty much every other movie Bumblebee out there. Put down, open, detached. And also swing out his front wheel and that whole center section there. Just kind of get them separated a little bit. Alright, same thing on this side. That's really in there. Doesn't want to separate. You gotta get them separated, changing the lyrics to the song to suit my needs in this very moment. Yeah. Alright. Got that stuff out of the way finally. We're gonna go ahead. Let's flip that out of the way for a moment. Get the arms up and out of the way, like so. Now, we're going to pull the top of the car kind of up and away like that. Just gonna give us more clearance. Let's bring his arms out. Swing this whole hood section down. Or not the hood really, but the front wheels. So get it going like this. Alright, pop these out to the side. They don't really like to go out to the side, but they will. Just make sure you apply the force in the right place so you don't break anything. Alright, just like that. Alright, the little back bit here folds away. Let's get his arms up where they belong. Like 2 hinges here, so just kind of swing it up. Get them in position where shoulders go. Push that back in. Now we need to get his chest kind of swung in there where it rests right by his head. And these pieces, they just kind of hang out against it at a tilt. So, all right, let's get his legs and everything apart. So I'll go ahead and separate them. All right, now let's turn this guy around. I'm gonna take these thigh panels, swing them out to the front, and then these fender bits swing out here like so. Now, I want to take this like foot assembly here. You're gonna swing it outwards. So swing it like this, and then one more time on a hinge. And you want to make sure that this little tab here goes inside the hole firmly, like that. Now you're gonna rotate him at the knee and rotate it like on the inside here, make it work. Swing that in. Gonna push his foot down on this rod so it can move and get it in place there. And then swing that. Make it kind of hold this in place. And swing that in. That's one leg. And then do the same thing on the other side. All right, you got both legs. Turn them around at the waist, 180. All right, now it's all starting to come together, as you can see. All right. So this whole section, I'm gonna make sure it's pushed all the way in. swing it down so this kind of plugs in. All right, we're getting there. Bring these up, make sure they don't get rotated down accidentally. Swing the little triangle bits here, the lower wings I guess you can call them, swing them down, swing the doors back. Unfortunately, these panels don't swing back, so that is an issue. Next, rotate these out a little bit, flare them out, and bam, this is Bumblebee's robot mode. And you can see it's very nice looking. Does a really good job of creating his look from the first movie. My only real complaint with it is that these panels don't swing back to match the doors. They stick out straight to the side, which, you know, is an annoyance. Should swing back also, but what can you do? Now, if you're looking to arm him, got his little cannon right here, and the way they normally do this with the Studio Series Bumblebees is that the cannon replaces his hand. Either the hand detaches or folds away or something. In this case, they opted for something different, and by different, I think cheaper is the real explanation. It's just a handheld gun. You just go ahead and plug it into the 5mm port in his hand. And, you know, I mean, they engineer it in a way to where it covers most of his hand, so it emulates a transformed cannon kind of thing. But there's no denying that I think they just went for the cheaper route with this. I think it's the same reason that he only has his battle mask face and, you know, can't switch between them. I think they're getting a little stingy on old Bee here. Maybe that's a sign they should make other characters. You know, just saying. But musings aside, he does look really cool. I mean, this is a gorgeous figure. Love the way he turned out. You know, again, not a giant fan of Bee, especially the movie version, but, you know, I have to acknowledge a good design. And though it is derivative, because his design, you know, he switches car models and everything, but the overall physique is almost always the same. Only real exception being his, like, ninja body from Age of Extinction. All right, here's our other comparison with the Masterpiece figure. And, you know, this is where the differences really start to come out. Now, the vehicle modes are more or less the same. This is, you know, where the simpler engineering of a deluxe class toy is gonna kind of make it fall short of what you can do with a Masterpiece. You can see the Masterpiece toy is just much more solid, less hollow bits. He manages to completely avoid having the big backpack that this guy and like all the other Studio Series toys have. You know, just much better detailing, design overall, but again, bigger toy, higher price point, it's to be expected. Overall, if you don't want to drop the like 80 bucks or whatever it was to get a Masterpiece, you're not really going to fall short if you want to get this guy. I think maybe the biggest loss he incurs is the lack of ability to switch his battle mask for a regular face, but other than that, you know, he works. He's good. Right now for the real fun, here's Bee with all of his other Studio Series incarnations. And I know the Last Night toy is kind of cheating because it's not actually Studio Series, but it is the template from which most of these toys were designed, especially the old beater there. So he's a bit too big, admittedly, but only by like half a head, so not a huge deal. And then, of course, you got this oddball over here, you know, the World War II design. It's all green and freaky looking. It's like a Terminator or something. But yeah, this is a good indicator of just how his design evolves over the decades in, you know, the movie universe. And they're getting pretty completionist with all these different Bumblebee forms. The only ones that are really missing are Revenge of the Fallen form, Dark of the Moon, and Age of Extinction. At least as far as, you know, Studio Series is concerned. But yeah, it is cool seeing them all together, seeing how they compare and contrast one another. All right, and one last thing I want to show you on old Bumblebee is the weapon storage. So if you don't want him wielding the cannon, but you don't want to lose it, go ahead and take it out of his hand, turn him around, and there's a little port right there that you normally put like a flight stand or something. And you can go ahead and just plug it in. And luckily it doesn't get in the way of his articulation or anything, conceals fairly well. And there you go. Now he's disarmed. So, what do I think of this toy? I think it could be better. It does seem like they took a few shortcuts here with the engineering and the parts count this time. But it's probably the best version of the 2007 concept Camaro Bee that we've ever gotten. He's a heck of a lot better than the one they released back in 2007. But, I'm not a giant fan of Bumblebee, so I might be a little biased against it. I would like to see less of him in Studio Series. There's so many other great characters that can still be tapped. I'd love to see them redo the rest of the Dinobots. Heck, Scorn, if they just went and upsized his Last Night toy, I think that'd be perfect, because that was a great figure. Just a bit too small to scale with Grimlock. But, my gripes about selection aside, it's a good toy. If you like Bumblebee, or you're a completionist, definitely worth a pickup. He does fix a few of the aesthetic and engineering flaws of some of the other Studio Series toys. So there is that positive to say about them. They might have cut corners at some places, but they did improve in others. And overall, if you pick them up, I think you'll have some fun with them. Of course, that is only my opinion. I'd love to know what you all think in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a thumbs up. Let YouTube know that you are enjoying these. If you want to see more of my reviews or any other videos that I make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for joining me for this look at yet another Bumblebee toy. And with all that said, I will see you next time.